Westfield State University graduate and Great Barrington native Simon Brown is a music educator in Berkshire County. When a New York philanthropist approached him to commission a new musical composition, Brown thought of his alma mater and its founder, Horace Mann. Recently, Simon Brown and Bob Plasse from the Westfield State University Foundation came in to tell us about Pieces of Horace Mann, which will have its world premiere performance on the Westfield State campus tomorrow night.
Jonathan wanted me to create a piece of art, and I asked him what kind of political issues he wanted to pursue, and he said human rights. So when I called Bob didn't even know this, and said, well, it's the 175th anniversary. Why don't you write something of Westfield, right? So why don't you write something for Horace Mann, honoring him?
And do you know who Horace Mann is, by chance, Jim? Yeah, he is the social reformer who is called the father of American education. And he really is a person who believed in social rights. And in fact, he was the, I think, the man who really inspired Booker T. Washington to send some freed slaves up to Westfield State. And one of those slaves became Booker T. Washington's doctor, as well as one of the first school committeemen. And we honor him at the university with Courtney Hall. His name was Samuel Courtney. So it's a real coup in our cap to have something written about Horace Mann, because if ever there was a cause nobler, it's the cause of education. Those were Horace Mann's words.
Simon Brown, let me ask you now here. Okay, you talk to Bob, you get the idea, it starts forming. How do you go about writing a piece of music, creating a composition? Where's the inspiration come from? A man who died, and granted, we've got a lot of history of him, but he's been gone over 100 years. Where do you go to get that inspiration you need as an artist?
Well, there's the long answer and the short answer. The short answer is I spent a lot of time walking, thinking about this piece, turning it over in my head, talking to people in coffee shops. There was a history buff that I kind of picked his brain every day for about a month on Horace Mann's life, and then a lot of time just constructing the piece in one's head. And then finally, not too long ago, a little closer to the deadline that I had hoped, I started actually writing the notes more and more. And I actually have a little bit of the piece here. And you can see I've already put some on the computer, and then I've started to mark it up, and it's just this process of revision and revision and revision until...
Do you work on the computer? Or
Sure.
So you're writing on the computer?
Yeah. Well, I write by hand first, and then I put it on the computer, print it out, write more by hand and more. It's funny because there's that movie Amadeus where he says, well, where's the music? And he goes, it is in here, or whatever, you know. And that's really how it works. You really have to have it in your head first.
Now, I've seen a quote where you said, you know, this is a metaphor for Horace Mann's life. The piece is going to start out kind of dark and vicious, contemplative, and then end glorious and questioning. Fascinating.
I feel like that's how the last couple hundred years have gone in our country. I feel like we're starting to emerge from this real dark age of our country into a place where everybody can be free to do what they want in terms of, you know, their life. We don't enslave people anymore. That's a progression. Women have the vote. You know, people can marry who they want to marry now in Massachusetts and a few other states, and it seems like we're getting there, and the question is really, will we get there?
He begins with the piece with this, well, you use some trash cans and some whips and these loud noises to sort of represent, what, the industrial age when Horace Mann first came into existence, or started his crusade for education? Yeah,
I wanted to paint a portrait of what life was like back then for a lot of workers, and there's an industrial factory, the sound of that, and there's a whip to really just remind people where we came from.
It's performed, Jim, by the Wind Symphony Ensemble. Now, Wind Symphony, we learned, or I learned, from our Karen Lavoie, who is the director of the Wind Symphony, that a Wind Symphony is actually a concert band. And how many how many folks are playing? 56 folks or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
It's like an ungodly number of people on the stage. And also, you wrote for the chorale, for the Westfield State Chorale is going to be in this.
So there's spoken word, in a sense, some of Horace Mann's words, obvious, I presume.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Yeah.
There's some spoken word quotes from him. There's some of my poetry. And then there's the folk song, We Shall Overcome.
Take us through a little bit now. I'm presuming with not a lot of time left till this, and it's a world premiere performance, April 28th. On the Westfield State University campus. Rehearsals are going on. People are learning the piece. What's your role going to be that night? Are you going to get to sit back and watch, or will you be participating, performing, or conducting? What happens for you?
Well, I do get to watch the premiere. I don't have to conduct, which is good for me. I like to watch. But I'll be at rehearsals. I'll be talking to Karen Lavoie, who is the excellent conductor. She was my conducting teacher at Westfield. Many great people have studied under her, great conductors, and she is just fabulous. It's like she can read my mind. So we don't have much to talk about because that channel's already open.
You're going to be telling the audience, or coming up on stage and sort of filling in the audience before they hear the piece, sort of how it began and what you are really you want them to listen for, right?
Yeah. I'll be doing that right before they perform. The orchestra will be getting ready, moving percussion around, huge pieces of metal that they'll be banging on and stuff, and I'll be talking about the piece. But I do intend to go to a few more rehearsals. I've already been to one, and you know, that synth sound, there's a synthesizer in it. We need to work on that, and you know, oh, that death whistle, there's a Mayan death whistle in the piece.
It's got a Mayan death whistle. Death whistle?
Death whistle.
Yes, and one of the students found it for you, right?
Yeah, went above and beyond and actually bought this thing. I don't know how much he spent on it or where he found it, but it's like this.
It was his last dollar, the death whistle.
Right.
Hey, they're not common. It can't be cheap, a Mayan death whistle, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's interesting that the foundation's celebrating its 35th anniversary this year. And we're doing that at a gala on May 9th. And believe it or not, we have never one to lose an opportunity. We're taping performances, the performance of Horace Mann's pieces of Horace Mann. And it will be part of our evening on May 9th at the university. So we're really getting our money's worth, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. It is a free open to the public performance. Yes. The Diva stage, Parenzo Hall. You can't miss Parenzo Hall, right at the driveway onto the main campus of Westfield State. Tuesday evening, April 28th, world premiere performance, Pieces of Horace Mann.
7:30.
7:30 p.m. Gentlemen, thank you for coming in. Simon Brown, congratulations to you.
Thanks, Jim.